Hi Apple lovers and welcome to another episode of the Tech Hub. This episode is our Apple Budget Buy series episode where I review old Apple tech which is still usable and affordable today. This episode looks at the Apple Watch Series 6 which was released in 2020. Is this still worth it in 2025? Let's find out. Let's start the episode. Watches I've pretty much had every generation since Series 1, even before it was called Series 1. So I did have one of these back in the day, and I went all the way up to Series 7 before I got the Apple Watch Ultra. So I changed every year. However, I didn't ever have this blue one, so I was keen to see it. So let's see if you can see. I absolutely love the blue, and I'm very disappointed I've never had one of these. I think it's because I always went for the Nike edition back in the day. But I think this looks stunning, absolutely lovely. So that's kind of my history and my thoughts on Apple Watches in general. I think they're the most essential, next to getting an iPhone, the most essential accessory for an iPhone. It's just a natural extension. Everybody wears watches and I would get one of these. Now, Apple Watches can be very expensive. Now, when it comes to the pricing, obviously I will go on about specific pricing later. But Apple Watches is strange. Once they're second hand, they all seem to go down to about £200. Regardless of failure, regardless of material, it's all about the condition really, which is a strange phenomenon for me to see in eBay. Anyway, let's look at the specification and history of this watch. Today we are diving into a true classic, the Apple Watch Series 6, specifically my own blue aluminium 44mm GPS only model. A watch that not only brought a splash of colour to the lineup, but it is also still going strong with watchOS 11.5 in 2025. That makes it the oldest Apple Watch still getting the latest features and updates. Impressive, right? So the Apple Watch Series 6 was launched in September 2020 alongside the iPhone 12 series. At the time, it was packed with forward-thinking features including a blood oxygen sensor, an always-on altimeter, and the S6 chip, and was based on the A13 Bionic from the iPhone 11. It was also the first Apple Watch to be offered in this beautiful blue aluminium finish, a bold new colour choice for Apple Watch fans. This particular model, the 44mm GPS only version, was aimed at users who didn't need cellular connectivity but still wanted all the cool health and smart features. So under the hood, the Series 6 was no slouch. It came with the S6 SIP system in package, offering 20% faster performance over the Series 5. It also included the U1 chip for spatial awareness and ultra-wideband capabilities, though that's still underused even in 2025. Battery life remained at the typical 18-hour mark, but the Series 6 introduced faster charging, hitting 80% in about an hour. Fast forward to 2025 and the Apple Watch Series 6 has outlived expectation. It officially supports watchOS 11.5, making it the oldest model still compatible with Apple's latest wearable software. I don't know how much longer that's going to last yet. I wouldn't expect next year's or this year's software to do it. That's 4 major OS updates since the launch, so from watchOS 7 now to 11.5, showing just how future-proof this model really is. Even today, the Series 6 remains a solid performer. Apps launch quickly, animations are smooth, and always on display still looks sharp. Features like Fitness Plus, ECG, blood oxygen monitor, and sleep tracking are just as relevant now as they were 5 years ago. However, the age of your battery is going to downgrade, so you might have to do lots of charging, especially if you're doing sleep tracking. And thanks to continued support, you still get the latest watch faces, widgets and health features without needing to drop cash on a brand new model. The Apple Watch Series 6 may be 5 years old, but it's still living proof of Apple's commitment to long-term support. And if you own one, especially a clean blue aluminium 44mm GPS model like this, you're holding on to a bit of Apple Watch history. Still relevant, still supported, and still stylish. This is the oldest Apple Watch running the newest OS. That's legacy done right. So let's look at pricing. Like I said at the start, this is weird thing with watches, where regardless of the the series or the connectivity, it's still the same price. So between 100 and 200 pounds, depending on the specification and condition of this watch, that is a steal. So you're saving yourself around about 50 pounds compared to the Watch Series 7. So as this came out at the same time as the iPhone 12, which is one of the best budget iPhones this era has produced, now I can see that the Series 6, this is a great era for budget buys. This is still the stamp of approval, the best Tech Hub budget buys watch to buy. So ideal for someone who wants an Apple Watch but doesn't want to break the bank. And you're really not breaking the bank. I got this less than £100 in an auction. So if you enjoyed this throwback spotlight, don't forget to like, subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode of the Tech Hub. Have you got a Series 6 or another Apple Watch you're still rocking on in 2025? Drop a comment below, I'd love to hear about it, and as always, please be kind. Please follow me on Instagram and Threads at TechHubWiltsUK and check out my website at www.techhubwiltsuk.co.uk, and I'll see you on the next episode.